This week's topic was directing and design. There are many areas within the design field. Designers are needed for sound, for costume, lighting, set, and even the theater itself. They have to be creative and great problem solvers. They have to envision the overall appearance of the performance and the performance space and create pieces and spaces that work together to enhance the overall production. I found 2 articles this week that dealt with design elements in theater. The first article I read was entitled "A Triumph for Matcham's Sound Theater Design, the Grand Opera House and the Staging of Opera in Belfast," and it was written by Kieran Kennedy. The article discussed the design of the Grand Opera House in Belfast, Ireland. The article began with a great deal of background and history on Belfast and on the Grand Opera House. Kennedy went into depth about the designer Frank Matcham and how he designed many opera houses in the UK, but only 2 in Ireland, the best being the Grand Opera House. Kennedy chronicled the golden years of the theater, where the audiences were sold out and they couldn't pack enough people in, didn't have enough seats to even hold the demand. And then kept going through the later years in the 60s when families were choosing to attend less live theater and opera and went to the cinema more. The Grand Opera House soon fell into disrepair and was converted into a cinema itself. However, during the mid-1970s, renovations were planned for the Grand Opera House to bring it back to its old glory, and by 1980, the theater had reopened and was available for operas and for dramas. The theater's design was based on Victorian-era style. The exterior design was a mix of brick and stone with Baroque and Oriental elements. The auditorium was the most elaborate in its decoration. The ceiling had beautiful arches that supported painted panels. The panels had Indian costume figures that were dancing and columns with Moorish motifs. The most notable design elements were on the ceiling, and they were of plaster elephants. Most of these elephants escaped damage throughout the years, and during renovations they were able to restore them to their glory. The building also experienced renovations backstage, which brought it up to modern standards for technology with modern equipment in their fly tower, an expanded orchestra pit, and updated stage lighting. The article I read was very interesting. It was very informative, and I learned a great deal about the history of the Grand Opera House. Kieran Kennedy painted a vivid timeline throughout the years. However, most of the article was background knowledge, and I wished that he had spent more time on Matcham and his design of the theater and what all was included in that. The second article I read was Francois Barbeau, An Inspiration to Costume Designers. It was written by Andre Lameau. Francois Barbeau is a legendary costume designer in Quebec in Canada. He was also a professor at the National Theatre School and University of Quebec in Montreal. As a professor, he set very high standards for his students, and beyond the classroom, he created over 500 costume designs for theater, dance, film, television, opera, and even the circus. And these were not only in Canada, but all around the world. He is known for his genius use of textiles. He's able to create costumes that look rich and expensive on a peasant budget. Most costume budgets, especially in Canada, are very small, so he had to be very inventive in order to create the looks that he was going for. He could take textiles such as cotton and lycra, mosquito netting, and materials such as car seats and styrofoam to create royalty costumes complete with shields and hats. The article was written to honor his exhibition at the Prague Quadrennial Performance, Design and Space. This event is the largest event in the world of its kind. It promotes the performing arts, particularly design. When creating the exhibition, the Prague Quadrennial wanted to do Barbeau justice. Barbeau is known for saying that costumes don't come to life until an actor actually wears them. And so the thought and notion of putting costumes on mannequins was never entertained. Instead, they used photographs from the live performances, and then displayed next to them, they put Barbeau's actual sketches. Barbeau used the sketches as a tool, and he wanted the people to know that the sketches were not just art, but also a tool of the trade. And it was used to show the viewer modifications that he took between his inspiration and what actually needed for the costume. Design is a very integral part of theater. It creates the look and the function of the set, the costumes, and the theater building itself. Without design, productions would be severely lacking, so it's an incredibly important element within theater. I hope that you enjoyed my video, and I hope that you enjoyed my write-ups.